What's going on, TIW Mafia? JP here, hanging with Josh. Josh, what's going on tonight, man?
Nothing, man. We're lucky to be joined with Amy Crimson tonight from lockdown, direct from Canada.
So what's it like in prison?
We got 3 square meals a day. We could see the sunlight. We can hear the birds.
You basically,
yeah, that's about
yeah, you get 3 hots in a cot, an hour in the yard every day, right?
Well, we can't go too long though, because then.
No, that's so you've.
For those that don't know, Amy Crimson's a Battle Arts Pro up in Canada. She's in lockdown right now. Tell us a little bit about who you are, socials, who's training you, what's going on, and then that way we get that out of the way so people know, they're going to be listening to the podcast, who is this, and then that way they can go direct to you, start following you, and do what they need to do. Yeah. So let's get your socials out of the way. So that's different. We do things different. Everybody waits till last to do that, but we try to get it out of the way for you.
Yeah, we're going to do it last again too, though. So
yeah.
Okay, so if you guys want to follow me on TikTok, it's Amy Crimson XOXO. My Instagram is Amy Crimson XOXO. Twitter, Amy Crimson XOXO. I got a Facebook page, Amy Crimson. So I wrestle as Amy Crimson, if you guys don't notice by my socials. I'm trained by former WWE superstar Santino Marella, aka Anthony Corelli, and I train at Battle Arts Academy at Mississauga, Ontario. So yeah.
Currently in lockdown.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you started wrestling when you were 19.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple of years now. But you just basically took a year off. Well, you didn't take a year off. Yeah.
Not by choice.
You were given a year off because of COVID and the pandemic and trying to be safe and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Do you have plans or estimates on when you'd be back?
Hopefully when Ontario government lets us wrestle.
For those that are listening on and not watching, that was a slow thumbs up. Like it just appeared out of nowhere.
Now you've already had a chance to tour the States a little bit and stuff, right?
No, so I actually haven't got to tour the States at all. I would love to do shows in the States. I was actually planning on saving my money and possibly going to train at OVW, RCW, Booker T's wrestling school. Yeah. So hopefully I can save up.
Let me know when you're heading down to Texas and I'll make a call or two.
Okay, sweet.
That's pretty easy for us. It's that's why we do the podcast, and I don't know. It's more fun for I think JP and I when a talent reaches out to us, because that just means there's hunger, there's eagerness there. It's not us having to fill a schedule.
Yeah,
it's literally, and we make if we don't have somebody, we're working to try to get somebody on the show.
Yeah.
If somebody messages us like you do and you're ready to go, we just make the time and we try to make it happen. And we appreciate you doing that. We appreciate talent doing that. That's why, when JP says just let us know when you're ready, is because there's ties with Booker and us for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was just it's really cool to see hunger. So
I always say there's only a handful of good schools. If you can get a good trainer, I'm sure Santino is an awesome trainer.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been there, and he was there for a reason. You got Lance Storm School up there. You go down to Texas. I'm in Massachusetts, so we got New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
Yeah,
there's a few good schools there, and it's really what you make of it. And if you go and you learn from a few different people, you get a few different ways of making things work for you.
So what made you and this is a question, so this is kind of how we roll. We never have anything really planned. It's a conversation and things just happen, especially when people mention names. What made you decide why Booker T, or why the States, or do we have to smuggle you out of Canada to get this started? How does this happen?
It's just because my coach always told us it's not what you know, it's who you know, kind of thing. So it's the more opportunities that you have with people with connections, it's it helps you get more bookings and stuff, because people are okay, this person was trained by former WWE superstar Booker T, or this person was trained by former WWE superstar Lance Storm or Santino Marella. So it's it's more like who you know than what you know kind of thing.
I love that you're already like grabbing the system. You haven't said the word wrestler yet. I just want to point out that I caught that. Like you obviously have a goal. Your goal is one particular place.
Like my goal is like to at least wrestle for WWE one day. Like at least get signed to one of the major like organizations, like either AEW, WWE, even Impact, like or even New Japan and like Japan.
Oh, that would be. And I just want to say real quick, what's up, Quest? I see you out there.
What got you JPS your age before? Because it's hard for us, and when I know how to rank my socials by when we ask somebody where their socials are. So we're out of the loop, JP. Really, I think Twitter was third. I think she gave her Twitter or TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and then something about a Facebook maybe. So
where's your what about MySpace?
That was before her time.
She's like, what's MySpace?
Right.
I wasn't even old enough to have one.
So that's how, and a lot of people will question, like, how can you guys interview talent that nobody has necessarily or been out? It's because you're hungry. It's the same reason we took Ace. I saw the same reason Ace Austin, like we're like, hey, let's get Ace Austin on the show 3 years ago. It's the same story. It's the same thing, is because he was hungry. He's like, I just got in, if there was an open chair, I got into it. And he's the next division. That's the next division champion right there. So
I actually got to meet him. So he's a nice dude.
He is one of them. He is one of the nicest gentlemen, Southern gentlemen, I think you'll probably ever meet in your life. Honestly.
I mean, there's always a point in time. There was a point in time where, Anthony Green, August Gray, nobody heard of him at one point. He was a local kid.
There's a time Brian Pillman wanted to be Brian Pillman II and not Brian Pillman Jr.
There was a time when no one heard of Santino Marella.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And
I'm just super
when we do
excited.
a before they were famous compilation, you'll be on it.
Hopefully. That's the goal.
So everybody's looking at May 21st as far as the Free Canada Day is what I'm kind of referring it to down here as Free Canada Day. Is it's my birthday too, so I would be super huge to see everybody that's a pro wrestler trying to get out and make some money. Like Lufisto's digging, you're digging, everybody up there that's stuck in Canada is digging. Vampiro just can go wherever hell he wants and do what he wants because he's Vampiro. So I don't know how that works. I guess the question is when this happens, how you got December, like mental health, where you're at, not being able to chase your dream. You basically have to put your dream on pause. What are you doing mentally to continue to be in that state of mind?
Well, I try to do fitness as much as possible. Like I try to stay healthy and be strict on my diet and stuff as much as possible. So at least when I go back, I look the part. So I'm not working 10 times harder to get back. Another thing I've been trying to do is try to get my name more out there. So I could still do wrestling related stuff, but just not the wrestling part. Going on podcasts with you guys and other stuff. So I'm just trying to build my brand as much as possible so that when I do get back, I can get possible bookings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the thing, I hate to make anything positive out of this, but the good thing is nobody that's wrestling now has ever been through a situation like this before. So there's no right or wrong thing to do because nobody knows yet. Yeah. And I think the people that are keeping their name out there, and especially I've heard other people say this, the ones who are taking the time and making the pandemic about them and the fitness, those little, when it's over, they're gonna shine.
Yeah.
Now, is the school open still?
No, so it's been closed since I believe it's been closed since September, I believe. So they had a mini show, but I couldn't go back due to COVID reasons. But it's literally been shut down since I believe October, September, when they closed down gyms completely. And then we weren't even able to open when they opened up a little bit because we have martial arts. So they wouldn't even let us open at all. So they've been closed since
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, JP, is there's just
The-
locked down. Like they're
yeah,
locked down.
Like no
There's no
restaurants, nothing.
there's about to be a whole bunch of Canadian backyard companies,
I guess that's what
superstars of the yard.
yeah.
I was contemplating renting out a ring just to run the ropes. Like I just want to
Right.
run.
Yeah, it's just to not do it, basically. To be active with it. I get
It's
that makes sense.
I almost feel like you guys are paused. It's just like everything. We've moved ahead. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
in Montana. It affected us, but it really didn't
Yeah.
because we're so sparse and spread out. JP was affected more than more than I was. But how? Not to get into the politics, but like, how are you just ready to? Like, I will go anywhere. I will whatever I got to do to get out of here. Just tell me what I need to do.
Basically, like I just want to save my money and just leave Canada before they like try to lock us down again.
Right.
Like, I just want to leave. Like I just want to go.
The gates open at midnight. You're gonna be right there at the border waiting.
Let me in.
Right?
I'm Canadian.
If they do open on May 21st, do you have a plan? Have you got a plan already? Have you made a plan? Have you talked? I mean, you're obviously doing what you need to do. You're eating right, staying in shape. You're putting yourself out there. You're making yourself available. So if and when those borders do open, you just basically say, "Hey, I'm making a commitment. I'm gonna start jumping in cars and see what happens." I mean, is that kind of where you're at?
Well, like through this whole pandemic, I just been like texting my coach, like Anthony, and like just asking for like some advice, like how to like keep my name still there. And like because like before the pandemic, like I was like I wasn't saying like I was like getting a lot of bookings, but like it was starting to like kick off because like I main evented with Allison Kay and Rebel and
Oh,
Casey
nice.
Spinelli. So like after that, like my career kind of like picked up, and then COVID happened. And it's like I was getting bookings, and I was supposed to go for the title with Lexi and Nicole at Crossbody in Kitchener in Canada. And like it was just like the momentum was there, and then like COVID happened. It's like, no. It's like, no, you're not gonna get momentum. Like
Right.
it was just like kind of like hard. So, like,
It's the good thing for me, and I'm just going to say this is not to be an age thing, but you've definitely handled the adversity of the pandemic in a pretty mature fashion. Like you're reaching out to your resources and asking for that help. I think a lot of people that don't succeed in the business are the ones that aren't willing to reach out to the people that are their confidants when they say I'm available and ask for that advice. Because JP, tell me if I'm wrong. I was like, everybody we ever talked to was willing to ask for help and ask for the advice. And when they get the advice, they don't question it. They just do it.
Yeah.
Now, as a young wrestler, how important is that? Like you, outside of COVID, you're at shows. There's a veteran on the show. Are you going up to the veteran and asking them to watch and critique and taking the critique?
Oh, for sure. So like basically like I say hi to every single person. Like when you're in a part of a show, like Anthony told us, like you better say hi to every single person and bye to every single person. I don't care if it's like the cameraman, I don't care if it's the soundproof man, that you say hi to every single person, you say bye, because it's like your attitude and your character is the first thing they look at you, even if they're gonna book you.
Yeah.
So like every single time there's a vet, like I go to the vets and I'm like, hey, can you please critique? Like I don't care if you gotta tell me it's shit. Like just let me know so I can get better.
Right. Yeah. If everybody tells you how great you are and that you're the best and the match was flawless, you're never gonna know what to improve on.
Yeah.
So being able to take and then them being critical isn't them like shitting on you.
Yeah.
It's them helping you.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think a lot of people don't get that, and that's why I asked that. I ask that question whenever we have somebody on that's young and newer into the wrestling. So
if you don't know what this is, or if you don't want to answer the question or can't answer it, just pass.
Okay.
But what you're talking about meeting these individuals, right? The veterans that are there.
Yeah.
The handshake, is it stiff or limp?
Stiff, for sure. You gotta Sorry, I got a call.
No, you're good.
Incoming call.
You're good. People
Hello?
know you're busy. You're blowing up now.
That's it. That's a booking coming in.
Hello?
You're still there.
Oh,
We
I
see you.
can't
So
hear
you're
you
good.
guys.
We'll keep talking while she goes. Are you?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you good.
Let me write that. Can you hear us?
Okay. Sorry,
Alright,
I got an incoming call. I had to decline.
No, you're good. It's
Okay.
you're important. It's what happens when people come on the show is you
That's-
start to get busy, and
The
it was
bookings
probably
are already. We're live. The
It was
bookings
actually
are already
my
rolling
boyfriend,
in.
so I feel bad that I had to decline.
So what's your friend's name so we can call him out?
Harry.
Who?
Harry Sanchez. It's my boyfriend.
Harry
Oh, okay.
Sanchez.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that'll be a good one. Hey, what were you doing? I was talking to two guys. I couldn't talk to you.
But
Sorry.
like I was saying, like my handshake is very stiff.
Yes.
Because like you need to show confidence. That's what one of my coaches said all the time. Like if you're meeting somebody, you show confidence. You don't show them that like you're afraid or you're intimidated
Yes.
because they're basically like you, kind of
And
thing.
eye contact.
So yeah,
They're equals.
When you're saying hello,
Yeah.
don't be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, it's
it's
boom.
basically everything that like my
Yeah.
coach has told us. Like he just sits us down and tells us like,
And-
if you guys are gonna meet a vet, do not like fanboy, do not fangirl. Like that's number
Nope.
one. Like do not do that.
Nope,
And
you've been
like
in the end
it
zone
helps.
before.
Like you go, you talk to them, and then they actually think that you're legit, or they think that you're more legit than what you actually are, kind of thing.
That's, as somebody who has set up probably a couple of thousand rings in my time, I don't know, Glenn, is that an accurate number? I thank Anthony for telling you guys to do that because there's so many people that skip over like the production crew and stuff saying hello. So we all appreciate that.
I think it's important in real life because I used to do that when I worked in a position where I was a public figure, you know, and there was people that were working in the background. Every morning when I went into work, I told everybody good morning, and when I left, I told everybody goodbye. Because the reason why is if I need to get square with something, that was the time to get square with it, not when you saw me then, and you saw me again then. So we should have had a conversation, or I'm glad we had that conversation. One of the two. So I think it's an attribute to you being willing to take that direction. Really, I feel. And then two, like you're asking for more. You're hungry for it because this is the time you can take. This is a college course. You can take the time that you're not getting the ring stuff, and you can get all the psychological things in. And when you do that, and you take the chance, coming on a podcast is intimidating, right? Is it? It is, right?
It depends. Like, I noticed that like when you're a wrestler, like you have to get your speaking skills on point. Cause like if you can't go and like talk to people, how are you expecting to be like the best? So it's like the more podcasts you do and the more you talk to people, the better like speaking skills you get. So like I just feel like it's just repetitions that helps like in the future.
Yeah, and somebody hands you a live mic in the ring and does, hey, you got to go waste 10 minutes in the ring for us. So, somebody got hurt.
I think.
And
the fun thing is I'm always impressed because like she's professional.
Yes.
At the age that she is. And Anthony was professional, kind of, at 17 as a referee.
Yeah.
And I continue to go back to the Rowdy Piper.
By the way, today's his 9-year anniversary.
9-year anniversary signing up to WWE. So I keep going back for the time that there's a video of him and Rowdy Piper where
we're talking about August Gray from NXT.
Piper just came in and told him to act one way.
Yeah.
And August was like, well, no, I'm not that. I'm supposed to be this. And he goes, oh, well, then just do this. And went the total opposite way and sold it the other total opposite way. So that is lost. And I'm more excited to see that there's a generation like you that are retaining most of it, if not all of it. Right, JP?
Yes, absolutely. Anthony will tell you that.
Well, the thing is that with like my coach and everything, we're taught ring psychology and like the knowledge behind it and like the respect aspect with it. So it's like just because you're like the best wrestler and the best speaker, like your attitude can ruin it for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, there's multiple wrestlers that like basically like that work the hardest and they're in the greatest shape Like they can wrestle, they can go, but they can get like designed or like not even signed because their attitude is horrible with the
Yes.
people that they like treat in the back or like even like the producers and stuff. So it's like that's why when like I started, like the number one thing was okay, respect everybody so you can be respected as well.
Now, who was it that inspired you to go and train? What was the like one moment?
So I kind of have like a couple.
Okay.
When I was 12, Anthony Corelli, like Santino Marella, he actually came to my elementary school, and at the time he didn't have the Battle Arts Academy like that was open because I believe it opened in 2014. This was 2012. So it was just like a random carnival at my school. I think somebody knew him because he lived in Mississauga. So I go up to Anthony, 12-year-old me, and I'm like, I want to be a wrestler. And he's like, he looks at me and he's like, how tall are you? I'm like, 5 feet. And he's like, okay, how old are you? I'm like, 12. He's like, okay, when you turn at least like 18, 16, then you can talk and you can become a wrestler. I'm like, okay. So then fast forward, like, I think a couple years they open, I turned 19 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Battle Arts Academy. And then I became a wrestler. And then I believe like Eddie Guerrero inspired me to like be a wrestler because I've been watching wrestling since I was like 8 years old. And like,
Okay.
that's all I ever wanted to do. Like when I turned 8, I was like, I want to be a wrestler. And like, that's the only thing I wanted to do. Like,
Eddie's absolutely like, and he's inspired so many of the like I think this generation because he was the best at what he did. I don't think there was a better bad guy out there.
no, for sure.
You know, and that's now. What do you have a preference? Do you like being the fan favorite, or do you like being the one that they're gonna boo and yell at?
Oh, I love being a heel.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would think a babyface feud would be so easy.
Well, being a babyface is easy because like I like everybody and like I'm likable and like I get along with everybody. But to be a heel and be something that I'm not is just so fun.
Okay.
So it's like I get to basically be something I'm not and like crank it up 10 times, like
Yeah.
and just like jaw jack with the crowd is just so fun for me.
So when this is always, it's fun for me to ask these questions because we get into the heel face and we get into the art part of it, which is always a lot of fun for me because the athletic part is cool, always will be, like it's the part of it, but the art part where you just said you get to be somebody you're really not.
Yeah.
What are you grabbing from? Like when you say you love to be the heel, what part in you are you grabbing from when you're doing that?
Oh, just the jaw jacking, like just being snippy and like just be like, if someone's like, you suck, and I'm like, well, you suck too. Like, come in the ring and I'll beat your ass, kind of thing. Like,
The best response to that is not as good as your mother.
well, there was actually this fan that came to all the shows, and at the time when I first started, I was like a little chubby, like I looked like a meatball, like I was thick, okay, and I lost a lot of weight, and every single show he'd be like, "You're fat, you can't wrestle, you suck." So I lost a lot of weight at the time, and it was like for the Battle Arts Women's Tournament, and I was going against a girl named Smashley. She wrestles at Battle Arts, and for some weird reason, that day I just wasn't having it with him, and I was a heel. So he's like, "Oh, you lost a lot of weight, huh? You think you're feeling yourself? You're still fat." I'm like, "You know what? Shut up, fat ass. Why don't you come in the ring?" And then every single time I would do a move, I'm like, "This is for you, fat ass." And he took off his coat and he was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." I'm like, "Bring it." And it was the most like, and then my coach, like Anthony, when I came back, he's like, "That was the best performance from you I've ever seen." Like, and I made him pop. So I was like, okay.
If you can get the coach to pop, that's a big thing.
That's a big thing when you can get right. What do you continue to like? How do you build? I know it's a short career we're talking about, but obviously mentally you're where you want to be. Like, you know, the level that you want to be at. Are you prepared for that commitment? Like the drive, the everything that you've got to do to get where you want to go for the amount of money that you're going to make obviously you feel like it's worth it, right?
Well, yeah, it's like what my coach was always saying is like the hard work is like what gets you there, but the outcome is like the paradise. Like, you're going to be living life. You're going to literally get paid to work out and look great. Like, that's the dream. Like, I know it's going to be hard and I know it's not going to be easy. I'm probably going to be on the road like 365 days a year. But at the end of the day, like, when I look back, I'll be like, holy shit, I busted my ass, but it was so worth it, kind of thing.
How's your family with this? How does your family feel? Do they attend? Are they actively participating in this, or is this something that isn't supported?
So true story. So when I was 8 years old, at the time when I was 8, the women weren't really visualized as wrestlers. They were like
they were puppies. That's all you heard all the time was puppies constantly.
So imagine an 8-year-old girl telling their mom, I want to be like her. And they're like, oh, hell no, you're not going to do that. And then like they thought it was a phase kind of thing. So after the phase kind of thing, I like high school came and I was like, I want to be a wrestler. And my parents are like, okay, I know it's your dream, but you need to at least have a backup plan, like a proper job. And then like I graduate high school and they're like, okay, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to do wrestling. And they looked at me, they're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, wrestling? Like, you know, you're going to have to bust your ass. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you know, there's potential injuries. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, go ahead. And then after that, like, they attended every single one of my shows. Like, they'll be at the grocery store. And when I became champion, like, they're like, my daughter's a champion. My daughter's a professional wrestler. So, like, they're very supportive. And, like, they basically attend all the shows. And, like, my mom's the loudest. Like, when I turned face, my mom was like, all you hear is crimson from my mom. That's it.
That's
yeah.
Now, where did it? I'll peel the. I don't usually peel the fourth wall back. Where did crimson come from?
So that's a funny story. So it was. I think I was training for only 2 months at the time, and they were in need of girls because like at Battlers there wasn't a lot of girls. So Anthony was like, okay, you've been training for 2 months, so we're gonna give you a practice match. So mind you, I've only been training for 2 months, so I only know basic stuff at this point.
Yeah.
So he throws me in. He's like, okay, do you got a name? And I'm like,
headlock hip toss.
no.
That would be a name.
Thunder. Irish whip.
There you go.
No,
there you go.
But he's like, do you have a name? And I'm like, no. He's like, how have you been training for 2 months and you don't even have a wrestling name? I'm like, I didn't think of it. He's like, okay, think of a name. And then he saw something like a girl named Amy, and he's like, okay, Amy, and then like some white girl name. I was like, okay. So then I was the face, and then it was like at a kid's birthday party. So like they were cheering Amy, and then I guess he liked what he seen. So he put me on the show. So then fast forward, it's the show, and all I have is Amy, and his daughter, Bianca Corelli, was like doing the announcing at the time, and she's like, Cass, you need a name, like you need a last name. And I was like, oh shit, I only got Amy. So then after she was like, okay, let's think of a name. So I was wearing crimson lipstick, and then she's like, okay, Amy Crimson. I'm like, that works. And then it just clicked. We're just like, that was the name. So,
now it's stuck.
Yeah.
Those are always the best names where they just happen.
Yeah.
Elvis Martinez wants to know, do you also lie, cheat, and steal in a match?
Oh, hell yeah. If you look at my YouTube channel, you can see me put my feet on the ropes, everything. Like, yeah.
No,
so I cheat still when I'm here.
You bringing up your socials, you brought up TikTok, and I think you might be the first person we've had on that's brought up TikTok. Is it a wrestling TikTok, or is it like the...
It's like, okay, so you might laugh at me, but to get clout, I post nostalgic wrestling content, so like old wrestling videos.
Yeah.
For like all the marks that want to like follow me.
No, but, that's like, it. That's where the ticket's at. You got to do it.
Yeah.
So like there's content where like I just sneak some content of me in there, like, oh look, I'm a wrestler, and then like, but then like, but it actually worked because when I did a TikTok before and I was just posting myself, I had like 5 followers, and then when I started posting about WWE and like their content, it jacked up to like 6K, and I'm like,
really? See, we
that's
because
you're not a competitor. You're in the suitor for the White Knights. That's what happens. All the White Knights showed up.
We tried doing the same thing. I just didn't have to drive to do it, to post, to go and find videos and convert them every single day.
See, when you're in lockdown and you got
Yeah.
nothing to do,
I think that's my problem is I've spent too much time in lockdown. I got into lockdown mode to where I'm just socialing way too much. Like I'm doing it way too much.
Well-
I found now that I'm out and free, I'm like, I'm addicted. I'm stuck to it.
nice. It must be nice.
I don't leave. For the record, I don't leave my house. Like I work from home. I'm home. This is it.
Not me.
Well-
I walked outside. I went to the store. I went shopping today. I got a fig. Like I'm just doing my thing.
What you got?
Well,
Sorry.
I ordered Starbucks off Uber Eats. But yeah, but when you're in lockdown and like no lie, like since this lockdown, I think I watched like majority of the whole WWE network.
What's how many? If you don't, what's the population of the town or city that you reside in? Mrs. How do you say that again?
Mississauga.
Yeah, I'm gonna pronounce that so bad. Mississauga. Do you know what approximately how many people?
A lot of people. I'm
Really?
not too sure. Yeah.
Is it like a big city?
It's like one of the bigger cities. Like there's like it's like a Peel region kind of thing. So it's
Okay.
like not just cities. So like it's like literally like Peel region. So there's like Bolton, Brampton, Mississauga, and like that's a whole region. And then we have different regions kind of thing. So it's like it branches off Toronto, York. Like,
Yeah.
Are there rules like can you fly out of the country? Like is there any way? There's no way of getting out right now.
So the only way you can get out is if it's essential travel and you have proof that it's essential travel. So it's like
I'm gonna kill JP. You have to come save him.
It's crazy.
And I continue to follow individuals like Amy that are up there, and I'm in awe. Like Casey Spinelli's, I think, up there.
Yeah.
The Fisto, I keep saying her name, is up there. There's quite a few individuals that are up there, and like you're stuck. It's just I can't imagine.
Fisto's like trying to retire, isn't she? And she can't even like have a retirement match because it's locked down.
Yeah, she's back to playing guitar. Listen to heavy metal.
Justin, allow a wrestling show, Justin.
Here's the bar is that, and it's just because we're football related. JPD, we need to do a read.
Yeah, let's.
This is part of the live stuff. Is we pay Bill this time. And that's the fun stuff.
So
and
today's podcast.
JP, are you ready? Do you want me to keep interrupting you? Do you want to do the Podgo ad now?
So today's podcast is brought to you by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you're going to get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to include the Irish Whip in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application.
That was spectacular.
Yeah, it was a great time for my allergies to kick in and me have.
And you got to heckle. I'm heckling you before the Podgo read. I heckle you every time before the Podgo read. It's just I appreciate what they do, and it's always fun because it's part of the podcast people laugh at the most is when we do our live reads are all the best. They're always the best. They're the most memorable part of the show.
I've been doing the same one for 3 months, and I have to read it every time.
Anyway, back to Amy, and the most important things is I think that's generational thing. Like you keep bringing up TikTok. It's where it's the socials. It's how you're measured. It's how you're measured is if you want this, what's your social? What's your followers?
Yeah. But the thing with TikTok is like people are monetizing all the social medias now in a lot of ways, but TikTok's kind of made it easier if you have the right amount of followers.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a good way of like supplementing. I don't know how much it pays out. I don't know what it is, but I think that's a nice way of supplementing a little bit of money.
Like I remember, I think I like posted a TikTok, and it was just me trading with like a viral song, and it got like 10K. And like people are like, "Don't give up on your career," and I'm like, "I'm not giving up." It's just...
But isn't that isn't that part of this is that you're learning how to work that crowd in a way that you are going to be able to use later on? Is that kind of why you use those? Do you use those socials that way, but you're also using them in the way to connect to your fans?
Well, I always try to connect with my friends as much as possible. But like my coach, what he always said was like, there's always gonna be a time where people are gonna think that you're bigger than what you are if you produce your stuff like that. So like people are always gonna believe like, okay, this person has like 10K followers. They must be huge because they have 10K. Like nobody would follow them if they're not huge. So that's what my coach always said. So he's like, use your social medias as an advantage to make people think, okay, this girl means something, like she's something. So like people are gonna believe, like.
Absolutely, it's a manifestation. If you believe it, somebody else is going to believe it.
Yeah.
Even if it is what you make it, and I think that's the most powerful statement anybody could ever make as far as professional wrestling is or sports entertainment is you make it what it is. If you're willing to invest everything you have into your dream, at some point in time it will probably pay you that back plus some. But if you take shortcuts, if you try to find ways around it, if you try to find the easy way out, just like everything else in life, it's not going to be fruitful. It's not going to be rewarding, and at the end it's not going to come to fruition. So kudos to you and Anthony and everybody that's doing what they're doing, because they're obviously, I mean, they're I'm trying not to be fatherly, JP. This is the hardest thing. They're obviously guiding you in the right way to be a professional and to be professional at all times, no matter what you're doing. So it's cool and refreshing for us. And you know how JP was talking about, it's natural for you to get behind the mic now. It's probably easier to do public speaking. It's like how much investigation or did we find out about Amy Crimson before we did this? Honestly, probably none. I did a little bit here and there, but I knew what kind of we know what kind of interview it's going to be within the first 5 or 10 minutes. Like that's literally how we know is okay. We know she's being trained by some really cool people, but it's always the questions and how they're answered, the way they're answered. And it's the confidence. It's the confidence behind it. And I'm excited to see when the borders open up, when all this starts to go down, how your hungriness translates into that. So is that like when your mom and dad said you need to go get a proper job? Like, is this where you learned work ethic, or how much you learned not to have that type of work ethic? And I only want to do pro wrestling because I don't want to do anything else but that.
Well, the thing is that like right when I turned 15, like my parents were like, okay, you need to get a job. Like you need to like pay for it like yourself. So like everything I did, like I always paid for myself. So like the work ethic is there. Like because they taught me at a young age that like nothing comes for free. So it's like when you're in wrestling, it like goes the same way when you're working for a job. The more work you put into it, the more success you get. So it's like if I'm like say like just putting in kind of effort, I'm just gonna get kind of results. But if I'm putting in the work, busting my ass in the ring, trying to get better, asking for advice, and like taking the time to like get the ring psychology and stuff, like then my work is gonna like pay off, because then people are gonna be like, okay, this chick works hard, she knows what she's doing, she has the confidence, because what you put in your work is what you show, kind of thing.
Now, the Ghost Heads Talk podcast is in the chat, is in the comments saying hello to you, and come to NYWC, which I think is the New York Wrestling Connection, which is actually a promotion that's been around for a long time.
Is that where Dickinson came? Dave
he might have come out of there because it is New York based. I'm sure he's wrestled there.
Is that another one of those things? Like, do you have independent promotions in the States that you have on your checklist right now before the big ones? Like, do you have? I mean, you can feel free to name them out because I'm absolutely like. Are there ones you have on your list right now? Like, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here, and I want to try and get here.
So I want to try and like wrestle for OVW, like at least once. RCW, again, Reality of Wrestling. The Florida Championship Wrestling, the Pro Wrestling 2.0. Like I want to try and reach there. Like honestly, I just want to try and reach as many promotions as possible to get my name known. Like even if I have to go to Mexico and like wrestle in like lucha, like underground or like AA Pro or like basically like AAA, like those are my goals. Like as long as I'm getting like money and getting paid to wrestle, like that's the goal. Like it doesn't matter what booking it is, but repetitions, and that's all I need.
I'm excited, JP, because she keeps saying names to where we just can just like, hey, would you mind? Or when the borders open up, you know, if you got time, do you know what I mean?
I'm sure like Santino does he still have connections down with like OVW?
I think so.
Because he spent a decent amount of time there.
Amount of time down there.
Well, the funny thing is that like I just tagged OVW in a post like on Instagram, and then they followed me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, Max is down there. Max has been one that we've been following for a while. She's she doesn't do anything. She's one of those mysterious. She's taking the mysterious route. So
I respect her for that.
Yeah.
OVW in the asses, aren't we?
Yeah, right. OVW is it's been around forever, so that's a cool thing when you can obtain the eyes on from a company like that. That's cool. That's really cool. It's interesting that she's going to southern, like down Texas, Florida instead of the Northeast route.
She said it earlier. It's not what you know all the time; it's who you know, and like those companies all have those connections.
Yeah,
FCW was NXT before NXT was NXT.
OVW was that before.
Yeah,
anything.
OVW was developmental for a long time, and ROW is where a lot of them actually low key. A lot of the guys go to train when they're making their return to the ring when they're coming back off of injury and stuff. And it's Booker T. So
yeah, and I think he still has connections with WWE.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can tell you like they're. I think it's next week with that whole thing A&E is doing is all Booker T.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that otherwise.
Yeah, it's that's the other part too is you're talking Texas and Mission Pro. I'm sure you've got eyes on Mission Pro just like every other female in the world right now has their eyes on Mission Pro.
Elvis wants to know how would a match between you and Thunder Rosa pan out? How would you want that to work through?
Well, I would hope she would be the heel, and then I could be the baby face so that she can help me throughout some like stuff. Cause like obviously, even though like I've been wrestling for a bit, like I'm still considered green compared to her.
Yes.
So honestly, any type of match like she would want to do, like I'm down for it. Like just help me.
How are you? Are you able to walk and talk?
Obviously, I could walk and talk.
You know what I mean?
Like I can like basically whatever like I think I can.
Josh is lost now. I just
lost Josh. I know what he's. I know what you're talking about. Is basically, are you able to call that? Are you able to call the match when you're in the ring?
So like I actually got an experience before the COVID pandemic panned out. Like we had a show in like March of 2020, and I was put with like a rookie kind of person that didn't really know. Like they were only given like I think like they only knew like 5 moves. I think the whole match.
So you wrestled John Cena.
Senior.
Yeah, Johnny Fab.
So she was really new. Like she was like basically like a professional boxer type. So she was just getting into the wrestling kind of thing. So the only move she really knew was DDT and an arm drag. And I think like we had to teach her how to do a crossbody before the show. So I only had like a few moves to work with. So like I tried to make it as like easy as possible, but also like it gave me an experience to like call in the ring, because at that point I was like more of like a veteran at Battle Arts.
Yeah.
So it was kind of easy, but like I feel like I still need a little work in calling, but like it's getting there. Like the confidence is there where like I know what to do. I know the ring psychology of a match. Like I know how to put together a match, so it's not as hard as I thought it would be.
The one thing that I've caught in the few minutes that we've had tonight is that like you are both very comfortable with yourself, very confident in yourself, but also very humble, and that's you have to have that mix because you have to know you're not the best one out there, but you have to be trying to be the best one out there.
Working towards it, right? Your ultimate goal is to always try to be the best at whatever you're doing, and if you're not, at least trying to attain that, your work ethic. That's a parent thing. I admire that your parents, said that they made you do it that way, because you respect it 100% more. If I've learned, if you give somebody something, they're not going to respect it. So you're learning all those life lessons that are going to matter. And I guess JP, like after COVID, like post COVID, pro wrestling is going to change, and I don't foresee a lot of like on the road type stuff really happening. So the fact that you're understand and are conceptualizing the same with the coaches, like the socials matter. The socials matter so much. Podcasts matter so much.
Yes.
Understanding psychology, or even just taking a free psychology class through Coursera or something like that, invaluable to anybody that wants to do that. So, I'm just happy that you took the chance to reach out and that we got the chance to sit down with you, because I'm JP. Honestly,
you'll see, we're gonna like chart your whole career out with you now. Like you're stuck with us. Like we're friends for life now. Like we're gonna watch you just go up. You're gonna be like you'll be the Bitcoin of wrestling. You're just gonna skyrocket up. The Dogecoin. Sorry, that's the hip now, right?
Squad for life.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Glenn Higgins wants to know what your dream match is now. And if you had a person you would have loved to work with in the past, who would have, like, so now and past?
Okay, so for now, like, my dream match would be to train with Asuka, because, like, she actually trained with Toy, which was my, like, trainer for, like, a little bit. So, like, I only got to train with him for a month, and then he went back to Japan. But, like, just the same kind of style, because, like, we learned the same kind of thing, would be awesome. And, like, she's, like, one of my inspirations right now, like, to learn, because, like, I love Japanese strong style. And then a person that I would love to wrestle in the past is Lita, by far.
Yes.
Because, like, her character and everything was, like, okay, like, that's amazing. And, like, she went from, like, a baby face to, like...
And she doesn't get the credit she deserves for being one of the first women to come over that really wrestled and was really good at wrestling. There were other girls who learned how to wrestle, but she came into WWE knowing how to wrestle.
You guys might think I'm, like, weird for this, but the thing that got me interested in Lita when I was, like looking back was that storyline with Snitsky when he kicked the baby.
Nope. You fit right in.
Oh, yeah, I remember that like that was yesterday. That was amazing. How did that? So that obviously imprinted, right?
I don't know. It's just, it kind of traumatized me as a kid, but then also, like, it kind of, like, was like, oh, shit. Like, this is kind of cool.
You're like, did he kick it? Did he kick it? No, he didn't kick a baby.
I'm like, was that a real baby? Or is that, like...
And so now I guess that's the question, is how, that's what you aspire to, right? Is you try to get that reaction for somebody like us that's been a fan forever to question, was that her, or did that really happen? Yeah. That's what you're looking for? Do your coaches talk to you? Is that harder and harder for that to happen? I know it's young in your career, and I hate to ask these questions, but does that make sense when I say that to you?
Well, yeah, like, I would, like, hope that whatever I'm doing, like, gets a reaction. Like, even if, like, you're cheering me because I did something cool, or you're booing me because you think I'm a jerk, like, I would just hope that, like, I get some type of reaction. So, like, it would suck if, like, I do something like I jaw jack with the crowd and then no one responds. Like, because that has happened with people. Like, sometimes, like, you'd be in a match and you'd be like, is that okay? Crickets. And you're like, oh, shit. Did I say something wrong? But, like, luckily that never happened to me. But, like, I know that it's happened to some people.
You have to know. Like, the word mark is mark for a reason. Like, there's a mark in the crowd. It's a spot in the crowd. It's a person in the crowd that is reacting to things. And that's where that comes from. It's a county term. So you got to find your mark, and you got to find that mark quick to know where to go to for that stuff.
Well, when I first started like doing wrestling and like promo classes and everything, like I got like a book and it was like basically comebacks for dummies. And I read the shit out of it. So like I was like, okay, so if anybody makes fun of me, I can just come up with a comeback. So if I'm heel, I'm golden. If I'm a baby face, like
You just
Do you
if
feel
you're
like-
a baby, but if you're a baby face, I feel like you just gotta smile and like hee at them, you know.
I just do that.
What's
Yeah.
your like? How would you, in elevator speak? So in like 1 or 2 sentences, how would you describe your persona?
So I'm basically from the streets of Malton. So Anthony basically made like a joke saying that Malton, Mississauga is like more of like the gangster ghetto type of Mississauga kind of thing. So it's kind of like, ooh, you're gangster. So like I'm basically like the type of like take no shit, but like basically I'll kick your ass if you piss me off kind of character, which is
Straight
totally
at 'em.
different than my actual personality.
Straight out of Mississauga, huh?
Do you find that that's something that you dislike in people generally? Is that type of attitude or that type of person that you portray when you're in the ring?
Well, I mean, nobody's gonna mess with somebody who's gonna try and kick your butt. So, like, I feel like, cause like I've always been that shy, in the corner, don't kind of talk to me kind of kid, cause like I was always insecure. So when Anthony told me, okay, you're gonna be like this gangster chick that's ghetto and ratchet, I'm like, me? You're talking about me, like the most quietest person. Because when I started at Battle Arts, I was in the corner, not talking to nobody, trying to keep my own like, okay, I'm just here to learn. I don't want to get into anybody's like thing. And then he's like, okay, so you're gonna be like out of this world character. I'm like, okay. But
Have
then
you
this
found that since being in wrestling that you're a little less like that now? Are you a little more outgoing?
Oh, for sure. Like I used to be the type of kid that would be quiet and like be super shy. Now when I get to know you, I won't shut up. Like in the beginning of the podcast, I was so quiet. Now I don't shut up.
That's a good thing though, right?
Yeah, it's funny because like I never wrestled. Like I said, I set up a whole bunch of rings. I did a whole bunch of security. But for me, walking into a place and being told, all right, hey, you have to go say hi to everybody. Like that wasn't me. I wasn't the one who went up to you. I was the one who kind of stayed as low key as a 6'8" guy can stay. But it wrestling really, just being around that really brought that out of me. Really made me a little more outgoing and made this stuff possible. So
Were you, and if you don't want to answer this question, you don't have to. What was it like growing up for you? Being obviously you're probably openly a pro wrestling fan when you're a kid. Like, were you bullied as a kid? Was it, what was it like growing up for you?
When I was a kid, I was that fat kid that loved wrestling. So it was like that, like, cause we had like a thing where, dress as your favorite celebrity. So I decided to dress up as Jeff Hardy going to school. So it's like I was basically made fun of, not because of wrestling, but because like I was like that fat little kid that like everybody was like that socially awkward fat kid. So like that was hard. But then when I went to high school, like I kind of glowed up, so I lost a lot of weight and then I gained back after. But like it's whatever. And then
That's another term, JP, glowed up. So
yeah, I know what
better
glowed up means.
write that down.
I know what glowed up. Listen, I'm hip. I'm with the young kids.
True story. When I was in high school, I had a geography teacher that asked me, "Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up?" I'm like, "I want to be a WWC. Like, I want to be a professional wrestler." My whole class stopped what they were doing, looked at me, and started laughing. And my teacher's like, "You're not serious, are you?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm serious." And then, fast forward, I graduate, start wrestling training. I go back to my high school with my boyfriend, and the teachers are like, "Hey, Jenner, what's up? What are you doing now?" I'm like, "Professional wrestling." And they're like, "Olympics now?" I'm like, "No, WWE wrestling." And I'm the current Battle Arts Women's Champion at the time. And they're like,
and you say, "Suck it."
How does it obviously when wrestling is active and when things are open and going, how is it to keep a relationship?
oh, for like easy. Like I've been with my boyfriend for like almost 8 years. So like since I was like 17, and like we're basically he's like one of the most supportive people ever. And like he's like, if you have to go to Florida to go to NXT, you do it because you're not like stopping an opportunity. Like I'm gonna be there for you and everything. So it's like him being so supportive is like
Yeah,
amazing.
that's key. That's key.
That's huge.
Is he one of the is he like one of, I'll say one of the wrestlers' wives, but is he at the shows?
Oh, he tries to like the thing is he tries to go to almost every single show, but like sometimes like work like interferes with stuff. But like
Yeah,
when
of course.
it's like a big event and like it's huge, like he tries to come as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's because it's hard. I'm sure you've seen it with other people in wrestling. It can be hard, and it can definitely be trying. When you travel and you may be away every weekend. You may leave on a Friday and come home on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what you want to happen.
It takes a solid relationship and a lot of humility for the other person to just be that, like in the sidecar, like in the, just in the back. Like you have to swallow ego on a lot of stuff, especially, pro wrestling and females. Sometimes it's a creepy thing. So I admire him for doing that and saying it's a huge on your part and huge on his part.
Like he actually laughs. Like if there's some creepy guys that like say some weird stuff, he just laughs because like he's like, bro, that's funny. And then like he was the one who actually pushed me to go start training because I was like, I'm gonna start training. I'm gonna start training. He's like, no, you're gonna get up, you're gonna go to the school, and you're gonna try out. And I was like, okay. And then like he's just been supportive. Like ever since I started dating him, I was like, I want to be a wrestler, and he's like, okay. And he's like just been pushing me and like saying, okay, you gotta do what's best for you, kind of thing. So. I admire that from him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that takes a lot of I'd say that takes a lot of confidence and trust on his end to to really do that and trust in himself as well. So that's awesome because it doesn't always happen.
Great job, Harry.
Yes.
Harry, yeah.
So we do have to talk football a little bit tonight, Josh, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I want to make sure she gets her socials out there tonight. I want to make sure that did we miss anything? Like I can't believe the hour's gone already.
I know.
It's always fun when we get opportunities like this to sit down with a true professional that understands the business and where she's going and what she wants to do. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you for reaching out and like just doing what you do because it's a symbiotic relationship. And I'm glad that we're able to set it up.
Yeah, I would love to have you on again when things open back up. So maybe before your first show, and we'll hype that up for you, or after your first show, and we'll talk about what it was like being back in the ring, or both.
Okay, that's sick. I'd love it.
So you're always welcome. All you got to do is send one of us a message and be like, "Hey, I want to come on." It could be Thursday night at 7:03, and we'll pop the door open.
Amy Crimson XOXO
is everything except for my Facebook. It's just Amy Crimson.
That's last on the list. It don't matter, right? You probably check that every other day.
I was told if you have like Instagram and like stuff like that, just use the same name. So once they search you up, you just pop up everywhere.
Absolutely. Yep. Amy, thanks again for joining us. Again, everybody, Amy Crimson, Battle Arts Pro, soon to be released from Canada.
Hopefully. Pray.
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Such a good kid, man.
Yeah, man. Young girl. Guys, we're going to start up XFL Extreme. We're going to talk Canadian Football League. We're going to talk XFL. I think there was a little bit of XFL news, right? Didn't The Rock want to suck it?
Are you ready to make the switch, my friend?
Yeah.
I'm so ready. I don't know, man. I'm sitting here. I've had the Alphas and Aviators are on right now. So it's Spring League on television.
We were like a team here. Did you see what I just did for you?
What?
I took off the Amy Crimson interview. I figured out how to do it. I'm proud of myself for figuring out how to do it.
You are the best.
It would have been horrible if I screwed it up and I took everything else off. Guys,
I'm
hang in with us. This is the sort of our podcast switch over. This is if you're downloading us, this is a separate podcast, XFL Extreme. If you're listening live, it's just going to be one continuous deal. So
it's the fun part. It's what we do.
This is where the wheel gets spin tonight. Ooh.
We basically separate this out, and we get an opportunity because we teamed up with XFL Newsroom, CFL Newsroom, every football league newsroom that could possibly really exist right now.
Yeah, full press coverage is going to be airing it. W Wrestling News Source will be airing it. It's we kind of walked into a whole whirlwind, but we were actually posted on CFL's website this week.
What's that?
We were actually posted this week on CFL's website.
Yeah, we were on
the Les Maruo interview.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers interview with Les Maruo. It was actually it was on there. It was featured on there.
Well, we got sued before our first episode, and then our first episode got put on the league's website, basically on the.
Yeah, I mean it was cool. I don't know if you can see that, JP, but this is the Discord from the one that you got
newsroom.
Yeah, the one you got away from, right?
So I had to. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's busy, man. I'm telling you guys, like this is. If you guys,
it was great because
do you see how much I'm scrolling right now, JP? This is only all the way up till May 3rd, and I continue to go.
We couldn't figure out the logistics of it, but we were invited to the CFL. They had their press conference right after their draft this week, and we just couldn't figure out the logistics of it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to attend. But
yeah,
we will be a part of those in the future.
Cat out of the bag. I'm gonna grab my phone right now. Actually, you're basically watching the XFL on Fox Sports 1 right now is really what you're watching. Everything that the XFL had done or did production-wise is basically the Spring League right now. Everything that I'm seeing right now, interviews on the sidelines, headphones. I haven't had a chance because
the hardest part of the CFL to get used to for me is going to be the 250-yard lines and the extra deep end zone. Yeah,
well, people. Let me ask you. So when we're talking about the merger, CFL XFL, I don't think it's not. I mean, it's not going to happen until next year. I really feel like the Spring League and the NFL and the CFL are kind of tests things right now. The Rock's busy as busy can be with other stuff that he has going on. And
happy birthday, Rock.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rock. I don't know. I'm just super excited. There's other football on besides the NFL because it drives me nuts. It really does. Hey,
Patriots. You love
Tina Weber. Bobby D says hi. Hi guys. Hi Bobby D.
What's up, Bobby D?
I'm
where's Bobby D?
He's I think he's at is there hockey tonight? Hockey game tonight?
Oh, there probably is. If there's a Bruins game, that's where he's at.
Okay, so we went through some of this, JP. I'm gonna read some comments through here and some how people feel about the CFL XFL type stuff. Okay. This is from Aragar, right? So I'm putting this up there. It says the fact that we continue to talk about such a short-lived league at all is mind-boggling. Face it, McMahon is gone. Oliver Luck is gone. They were the ingredients that made the league great in the first place. With them gone, the XFL is nothing. Do you believe that?
Do you buy that? Oliver Luck was part of it for 3 games.
How many?
Like 3 or 4 games. How many games did they have that season?
I don't know. No, it wasn't enough.
Right. So, no, I don't think that's... I think The Rock has more of a love for football than Vince McMahon does.
Do you... there's been a common theme of how much he paid for the league. How much? $15 million. That's nothing. Like, how is he going to start up the league with this? It all comes down to money, right?
Yeah, they basically... And The Rock has money.
A lot of it, right?
Yeah, so does Vince, but how much of Vince's own money was? I mean, Vince put up money, but I don't think he would have continued to put up money you know what I mean, as needed. I think The Rock would, because he has faith in what it's going to do.
It's Alpha 7 Aviators 0 right now. Aviators are driving down. This is some good football, JP. This is some decent football. I can get behind this.
And this is the Spring League?
Yeah, this is a spring league. Andrew Jamil, one of the wide receivers for the Sea Lions, had agreed to come on the show, and then he ended up going and trying out, making the team. So we're literally waiting and clearing some stuff between FS1 and it's the same thing that we do. We find these guys, we like them, we book them, and then we end up,
pissing someone off.
Yeah, we end up pissing somebody off because we do something
some little minuscule person who has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh wait, sorry, I was talking about wrestling again.
Oh yeah, just Ross Foreman. Sorry. Jake says, I think you're confusing realistic with pessimistic. How many times do I have to remind this server? So he's talking on Discord that there's stuff going on in the background, but they can't announce it due to the really interesting thing called a non-disclosure agreement. They could very well have the CFO or the chief football officer picked, but because of a non-disclosure agreement, they can't announce that. How much do you feel?
Hold on. Does he really think the CFO stands for Chief Football Officer?
Well, Chief Finance, you know what I mean. It's financial officer. I think it's a play on words.
Okay.
No, I don't think that. I think it's just a play on words.
Okay.
I was
just about to dismiss this whole thing.
No, it's.
But he's right. He is right, and there's things we don't know, and there's things that we shouldn't know.
Do you know how many teams are in this? I'm not doing this. Do you know? Because I didn't for the first time in a long time. How many teams are actually in the CFL?
Let me see. Hang on 1 second.
I mean, how many would you guesstimate?
12.
Saskatchewan, Edmonton, BC, Hamilton, Winnipeg, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa Red Blacks, right? And then I think, did I leave one out? Or is that it? I think that's it, dude. So when people are listening to this XFL Extreme and they're trying to figure out a CFL XFL merger and how this makes sense in so many teams, there's not a whole lot of teams. I brought up the fact that this spring league is playing and the XFL is not.
Yeah, but the spring league doesn't sell as many tickets as the XFL will play.
Do you think they'll play this year?
Yes.
When?
The XFL will
or do you think they're going to wait until?
No, they're going to go 2022. You're right.
That we have to, right?
Everybody keeps there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, everybody keeps wanting them to start now and play now, but it's literally at XFL 2022, right? Not XFL 2021, it's XFL 2022. So that's when the startup is. We're not looking at this as an NFL season. This is an XFL season, which starts in the off season of the NFL.
So I have the teams, and you're right. So on the West, there's BC Lions, Calgary Stampedes, Edmonton football team, which now we know where Washington stole the idea from. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, our favorite team right now, right?
Do you know why Edmonton has changed?
No. Was it offensive?
They were called the Edmonton Eskimos, which is a derogatory term now to
what?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, JP.
No.
Yeah, it's I think the proper term is Inuit now, I believe. So
and then on the East you got the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the Toronto Argonauts, the Ottawa Red Blacks, and the Montreal Alouettes.
So not only do you have the extra field goals on the goal line, not behind the goal line, right? And then you have an extra 5 yards in the end zone. So, we talked about this as far as an XFL and CFL merger, even if it does happen, Like the AFL NFL merger took 4 years.
Yeah,
Do you
I don't think
you don't think
no,
it takes that long, do you?
no. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But didn't The Rock just come out and say it's not happening?
With what?
The
The merger?
merger?
No, I think they're talking. He hasn't come out and said that it's not happening. Out all and say, no, the merger's off.
See, I thought he had.
Mm-mm. We wouldn't
Okay.
be.
But I mean, I'm excited for the XFL.
The reason I'm excited for the XFL again is it gives guys a chance that wouldn't have necessarily have matured as quickly as other players did or do. Plus the program, man, the NFL has a lot to do with where you go. When you're at the top, when you're getting like 5 or 6 of the top 30 draft picks coming from Alabama, I mean it's a program. It's a mini. It's college football is a feeder program to the NFL, right?
You know who was great up in Canada football and the CFL?
Who?
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, so was Dave Dickinson, quarterback.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, that's all. That's all you can. Do you remember what team he played for?
I don't.
Was it Toronto Argonauts?
I know he went up there and he has like every record.
How about Raghib Ismail? Do you remember where he went to when he got drafted? Do you remember that CFL stuff? Do you remember?
No.
Do you not? You don't remember Raghib Ismail and him getting? Wasn't that CFL? There we go.
So last night, can I plug another podcast?
Yes, please do.
So last night I was listening to 80 Proof, and they were talking a little bit of football, right?
Yes.
And 80 Proof is J-Bomb from Talking
Is this the Deion Saunders conversation?
And Chris Rucker from from the Chris Rucker show and from Boot to the Face. And yeah, J-Bomb was like, "What about that Deion Saunders?"
It's his accent. That's all.
No. He straight up added a U into the name. And because he said it right after when someone corrected him. He's like, "What's it? Oh, it's Sanders." Yeah, I knew that.
He played it off like he knew it. He did okay.
Yeah, no, he had no idea. Yeah, it was funny. Whatever. Like football's not his thing. Baseball's not his thing.
It's not.
Laurie, hello, by the way. You guys are awesome. I love that you and Tina are here and Bobby D's checking in after his trek from Boston.
Alpha 7 Aviators.
In my old neck of the woods, probably hanging out in Southie, was he?
I don't know, man. You're a Patriots fan. There's a lot of Patriots playing in the spring league this year. Former Patriots. Really? There's a lot of former Patriots playing everywhere, though.
Yeah, because they're the best.
At what? Cheating?
No, they didn't cheat. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to keep saying it. Blues versus Sea Lions tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern. So the Sea Lions is where it's at. That's where you see Andrew Jamil and the boys probably light it up tomorrow. I don't know much about anybody else. He's just one of the kids. When this started up, I was like, yep. And that's because of a YouTube video I saw of him running the routes that he was running, the catches that he was catching, and what he was doing. He's basically he's the kid I'm watching. There's a couple defensive backs that I'm watching too. But the reason I'm watching him is he's Wes Welker, and that's why I bring it up. And I think a lot of this episode is going to be about those guys that are in the spring league that I really think can make an addition to when the injuries start to happen in the NFL.
People bust my balls for when I became a football fan, a Patriots fan in particular, because of the time frame. It was the year I started watching was Brady's first year.
Who gives a shit? You're from Boston. It doesn't matter. You're entitled.
The reason I started watching had nothing to do with Tom Brady. I watched from game one. The reason I watched was because I saw a play that caught my mind. And Teddy Bruschi to this day is my favorite all-time NFL player.
Have you
followed by Brady? But you know who my number 3 is?
Who?
This one will blow your socks off. It'll blow your fucking mind. Ricky Williams.
That's your number 3. That's your favorite
Oh,
football
yeah.
Patriot ever?
No, Ricky Williams wasn't even a Patriot. He played down in Miami.
Okay, well, that's why I was confused. That's why I wanted to clarify. I was like, when
But I
was Ricky
figured that would
Williams?
blow your mind because it wasn't a Patriot.
Yeah.
But I loved watching Ricky Williams run the ball because he didn't do all this fancy like footwork stuff. He damn put his helmet down and tried to run through you.
Do you think he was the last best running back?
No, I don't think he was the last of like the greats.
Think about who we got to grow up watching. Like we got to watch Walter Payton
and
Barry Sanders.
Junior Seau's a top 5 for me too, and from before he was on the Patriots when he played for Miami. Junior Seau.
Junior's
he was a
guy.
top 5 for me too.
Yeah.
But Ricky Williams, him and Teddy Bruschi actually collided helmet to helmet.
Stuck.
And it broke. They had to shred the helmets apart. Teddy Bruschi still has the Miami helmet torn in two.
Because they were stuck, huh?
Yeah.
I guess that's why I asked that question, because the Steelers drafted who they drafted, and I think they did a good job. I read comparisons today where the running back and tight end that they took, kid from Alabama and the kid from Penn State, are a lot like Le'Veon Bell and Heath Miller. So I'm happy with where the Steelers are at. I try not to curse because I'm trying to be better about all this, but I don't like Roethlisberger at quarterback, and I don't like the coach. I don't like what he has brought to the team as a culture with wide receivers and defensive backs particularly. And I tolerate that because they win, just like every other Steelers fan does. Wait till we start losing and this shit happens. Like that Steelers Nation is going to blow their shit.
I like the Patriots where they're at this year. The draft picks for the Patriots, they don't matter too much because honestly, Belichick doesn't draft good. He never has.
No, he doesn't. But he picks up. He makes talent out of what he has.
If you look up how he drafted Brady, at 199, he got a call from another coach. I think it was Parcells. I think Bill Parcells called him up and said, "Draft this kid." Because Brady was sight unseen, but Parcells had seen him in practice, I believe, for the college. Because Brady never took a snap at college, and that's how he got drafted at 199.
So right now on the screen, JP, I've got the spring league. Like I have this chat up, and there's people commenting as the game goes along right now.
Oh, okay.
This is how intense and these are guys that are in with the league. They're in with these players. They're updates. So this is fun for us. These are the football nerds of pro wrestling. That's basically what I compare it to. It's like they're breaking news on the spring league and kids that are getting that second chance. Elvis says, "Boo Steelers!" Like this. Can we? Elvis, I think he's a Ravens fan. He's probably that doesn't make sense.
I'm with you, Elvis. I actually like this. The thing is, I like football.
I love football. I love the game of football.
I have a favorite team. It's the New England Patriots. I will watch all football, but I don't have a second favorite team.
I won't watch all football. If I don't
won't sit down on a Sunday and watch every game.
I will have football on per se. But I won't. Elvis. Oh, that explains it. He's a Raiders and a Packers fan, of course. 2 teams. You can't have 2 teams. Actually, you can. Elvis. You can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you a hard time. Raiders are. Bo Jackson was always great for me, and
yes,
the Packers. Being able to watch Brett Favre do what he did with those 3 back-to-back MVPs. That was pretty cool. So, I don't know, man. I was a Steelers fan for a long time as a kid. I went through some shiny years, some Mark Malones, some Maddoxes, some struggle with Cordell Stewart. That Super Bowl with Dallas was horrible. So the reason I'm pissed, man, and I'm going to say this over and over again, is that playoff game last year when the snap goes It's over Roethlisberger's head. He runs back and he just looks at the ball. He doesn't try to cover it. He doesn't try to do it. And I'm not saying that lost the game. I'm just saying that sets the tone for your entire team if they're looking to you as a leader. So I'm bitter.
One of my friend's sons just got a 4-year scholarship to Oklahoma State to play defensive end.
Really?
Yeah, a full ride.
There were Chuba just went in the draft to a Canadian team, but I think he's also wearing the Panthers blue and black. So there's some Canadian. Did you know, JP, that CFL 100% Canadian?
Yes.
So
yeah, the CFL draft. So that's different than the global draft.
Yes. So CFL is 100% Canadian, and global is just basically anybody outside of that, and not on an NFL board.
Right.
But they still get drafted. There's a kid out of Delaware that they call Captain Canada. That is a linebacker that's going to be on the show here soon. He's playing his grad years at the University of Delaware, I think, this year. Block special teams kick right there. That's awesome.
I'll talk to Takeem, the kid who signed from Oklahoma State. I don't want to get him in any trouble yet, though, because he is just starting.
Oh yeah, we don't.
He'll be on as a freshman in September.
Well, the thing is
but this is a kid who he was screwing up. He was getting in trouble. Not serious stuff, but little bits here and there. And one of the coaches grabbed him and said, "Hey, if you take this serious, let's see where it goes." And that's all he does in football now. It literally changed his life, I'd say, from the outside looking in. And that's, if you want to know who it is, it's Takeem Thomas. If you want to keep an eye on him, defensive end going into Oklahoma State. So I know JR's going to be loving him.
Exactly, right? I can't. I'm not an Oklahoma fan. I'm a Nebraska fan, so that's just how it works for me.
I don't do college football.
I used to,
but I did tell my. I'm going to tell him when he's playing for the Patriots, I expect tickets. Because you got to figure, if you're going to a school like that is a football school, and you're going for football on a ride, you're going to play somewhere after school. Then now, the NFL is not the only option. So he could try out in the global draft for the for the CFL. The XFL is going to be there at that point, and there's going to be money to be made.
I don't know if you can see the picture that I have right there, JP, but that picture right there somebody posted is The Rock walking during a workout. See his belt?
What's it? Oh, the XFL.
Yeah. So working on his birthday with the XFL belt. It's pretty cool.
Listen, I mean, you forget, he played for the Hurricanes, so
he did, and he was up with if you watch anything on The Rock, he tried to go up to the CFL, but he just knew that he didn't want to do it. That's tough, man. That's a tough league. You're not making a lot of money. You're really doing this because you love football. You're passionate about it. You're not getting paid a whole lot of money. Really, you're not. It's nowhere near NFL money. It's not even close. So yeah, it's a dedication, and you can't have a league start up right now. I really think that we're going to have the barometer is going to be set by the spring league that's right now in 2 locations. Of course, running without fans, but they're running, right? And seeing with sponsors and growth what they're going to make financially, right? You've got Fox Sports behind it, you got FS1 behind it, which is really you're getting production value of WWE, maybe not as many cameras and as much pre and post, but the cameras, everything else is the exact same. It's all there. Did we spin the wheel last time, JP, for the fig?
Is there a fig or a t-shirt?
Well, we didn't. When you did our last podcast, I don't think we spun.
I think we did. No, we spun for a shirt.
No, well, I'm talking more like the pro wrestling podcast. I don't think we spun.
Yeah, we did not. I didn't know there was a I didn't see a post for that.
It's all good. We'll spin it later.
We'll make a good one next week.
Yeah. You got the wheel up for the T-shirt, right?
Yes.
That's a cool T-shirt, huh?
I want that T-shirt. The snake charmer.
Yeah, just so you know, so the whole like the figure stuff that we do in the spins, this is totally separate from that. So if we win this, I'm keeping this. I'm keeping the shirt. Like I'll buy this shirt and I'll wear it for me, and I'll say, "Yep, I won this on my own podcast."
And our names are on there.
I don't care. This is equal. With an action figure, it's different. Like I'll donate it or give it whatever. But when we're talking about, a beer snake charmer from, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm gonna wear that thing.
I may do the same thing. If I win, I may just buy one and order for myself as well. I may do that regardless. I'm just
not a ton of people compared to how many people we would usually get for
but it's
free fig, whatever. But it doesn't matter. It's where we.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to be able to do this, and
we appreciate you guys that do the retweets every day. The Nick Haddocks, the Bobby D's, that do the retweets.
Sounds like a little Molly Hatchet you got going on there. There's some Ryan Mallett for the Generals, JP.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ryan Mallett playing. He's a good QB, man.
Who do we got? Ha! Ha!
Who is it? I can't see it. I'm not paying attention. Is it me?
Bobby D.
Yes. That'll be easy. Lori, you get a T-shirt on the way.
Laurie, message one of us with your address. I know I have it somewhere, but address and T-shirt size, please.
Yeah, I might even make it optional because there's a pretty cool fat hat for about the same. So maybe we'll give him a choice. You can take the T-shirt or the hat, whichever he's more comfortable with. The hat's pretty cool. It's flat bill.
I don't know if he would wear a flat bill hat.
Sure he would. He'd support that. Probably not.
Bobby D's an old school guy. You're the flat bill hat. You bend your fucking brim up. That's strange.
No, it's not strange. That's
strange. That's Montana.
Yeah, it's so I can see.
That's like you know what that is? That's really a punk rock thing, I feel.
It is. It's a punk thing, plus it's always a keep the sun out of my eyes thing.
That's what these are for. Look,
dude, this Spring League stuff is pretty tight.
That's what these are for. Watch the bag and everything. See, that's what those are for.
I already want
these are to keep the sun out of your eyes. See that? You see the bag?
Oh, it's a Patriots ball sack bag.
There you go. I got the Ray-Bans over there. Those will keep the sun out of your eyes.
Do you know that Project Reality is also going at the same time? We're watching the Spring League. Our football season's just fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
You know what I wanted? Maybe we should should do something different.
What?
Maybe we reach out to Bryan and we get Pillman Jr. on the XFL podcast where his father played football for the Bengals.
Yeah, his dad was pretty ruthless as far as a football player too. I
came across this morning tonight's that'll be on in about a half hour, Dark Side of the Ring, and it's the Brian Pillman one on YouTube this morning, and I watched that and it was phenomenal. So I'm like all Pillman'd out, like Pillman was the GOAT to me.
Well, if he wouldn't have had the chance like these kids do in a separate football league, like he would have had in ECW or WCW, he wouldn't have got the shots he got at all comparatively. So when these
he made his own shots, he really did. He didn't wait for any opportunity. He took every opportunity.
How do you feel about quarterbacks in general, man? How do you, as far as what is your ideal quarterback? If you were going to build one, if you were in today's game, are you going to have your guy that you guys drafted in New England, a pocket passer, or are you going to have?
It all depends on the line. Like the Patriots have always had a line that was built for a pocket passer. We don't have a line that's built for a runner like Cam.
So I'm glad you answered that, and that's, I guess, why I always struggle with these teams that continually have these high draft picks that take an athletic quarterback with an unathletic offensive line that have an inability or know how to protect a quarterback like that.
But Bill Belichick has already said that Cam Newton is the starting quarterback this year.
Well, as he should be. He should be. There's Cam Newton's an amazing quarterback.
Not on that team, though. He's good.
No.
They're going to get to the playoffs.
Same thing with Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox. You had two different quarterbacks and one offensive line.
If you think about it, though, Brady was really a pocket quarterback.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know, he was he had a great arm, and he could stitch that knee. He could thread the needle.
Arm strength made up for any deficiency that Tom Brady had. As I don't know how to. If Bledsoe doesn't go down, Brady doesn't get the shot.
I think, absolutely, and I think I can admit like Brady's the best still. I just don't want to see him. The reason I don't want to see Brady win is because I want to see the Patriots win. I just want to see a good game. I'll joke and say F Brady now, but it's not F Brady. Like I'd be happy for the guy if he won another. Like if the Patriots decided to not have a football team anymore, I'd be sad, but I'd watch Brady. I don't care if Elvis is like. I don't care if people think that Brady is a crybaby. I don't care if they think he's a cheater. I don't think everybody cheats. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's just the way that it goes. But they think that because he's the best. Yeah, you have to take the dig at him. You have to find one way to discredit his success, and that's what everybody. He is the best quarterback that I have ever watched manage and take control of a game. And I can say this as a Steelers fan because he did it constantly and consistently. I could probably name more games that we got our ass kicked than one because that was a reality of it. And the games that mattered are the games that the Patriots won and the Steelers lost. And that will always be the way that I remember that matchup until the day that both Brady and Roethlisberger go away and the quarterbacks come in, because that's gone. It's just not going to happen again. It was pretty fun while it lasted, but Brady's the best. I've watched Aikman play. You name a quarterback, we probably watched him play at some point in time. If it's from the 80s on, if it's pre-80s, it doesn't matter because McMahon, remember McMahon with the headband? Oh my God. He wasn't the quarterback though. And I'm not trying to discredit the game before the age now, but there's no way that the athletes back then can compete with the athletes that there are now. Size, strength, agility, speed. And knowledge. Like Brady's so here's the thing, is like Brady. People say Brady made Belichick. That's not true. Brady and Belichick made each other. Brady just advanced more than Belichick did, and Brady now is the better mind than Belichick is. Holy shit, did I just say that sentence? How much, and I don't know how much, I don't know if you know the answer to this question, is it's just me posing it. Man, that was a nice punt. How much offensive coordination or head coaching or quarterback coaching play calling did or would Tom Brady ever need during a game that he couldn't manage on his own? So in the beginning, Brady will tell you he didn't do any his first couple of years. His first 2 or 3 years, he only called 1 or 2 plays. And then they started letting him call plays. So that's why I say they really needed. If you're the coach of a football team and you bring Tom Brady in, what do you got to do? Watch. Sit back. Like Brady never thought he was going to play. Brady showed up for his first day of practice. And you know what he did? He brought pizza. His first day of practice with the Patriots, he bought pizza for the whole team. Games are cool. James Larson in Discord says the Aviators offensive line sucks ass. It's cool that they're that active through this, though. Oh, man. This Discord, if you're a football fan,
and you want to be able to talk about not only NFL football, but you see the Spring League, the XFL, CFL, Euro League is on here. It's fun, man. I try to keep the notifications limited on here, and I don't participate so much in the conversations other than to ask questions that I want to have opinions to, like XFL and the Spring League. Like, what if the Spring League really takes off? Would it become so successful that it was what the XFL could have been? Does the XFL then become a partner to that? Questions like that I want to see these guys that are, kids in college, more than likely. They're doing their finals, they're doing their exams, but they're invested in this because they have buddies that are probably players. So they're riding along and, promoting them and doing their stories, or they're journalist majors. And this is something that they use as an outlet to, write their stories and do what they need to do. But they're active, and it's opinions, and it's just names that I wouldn't otherwise see, that I want to be able to root for and cheer. Like, I'm a homer guy now, man. I'm going to pick a homer. I'm going to pick my favorite guy. Just, like you said, Ricky Williams. If I was to, and he was off the Patriots team, if I was going to pick a guy that I grew up like really wanting to be like, or a fan of, it was Steve Largent when I was a kid. Like,
look at this comment from Elvis.
Roger, who Willie? Roy Rogers is the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers is not the GOAT. I'm sorry, man. Aaron Rodgers is an amazing quarterback, but how you conduct yourself has a lot of weight when it comes to
thing. I don't know who he means, because Aaron Rodgers, always has a D in him.
Busting Elvis's balls. Aviators and Alphas. It's the third quarter, buddy, and it's a high scoring affair. It's 7 for the Alphas and 3 for the Aviators. So we've got we've got some pretty good defense or some miserable offense. I'm going to go with the latter. These guys just got together like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. They slammed these teams together.
And they're on Fox Sports Net.
And they're on Fox Sports 1 right now. It's amazing to me, man, if some guys did the drive that they have and the willingness to get stuff out there, and how much more money, and this is just me again, you're not going to know the answer, but it's me asking the question, is MLB, NBA, NHL, how much more per player does the NFL player make? I know there's more of them. But even if you were to take like the top 5, even if you took like the 5 starting lineup in a basketball team, and you took the top 5, like if you took the 3 wide receivers, quarterback and running back, like the salary difference in that, I wonder what that is.
Yeah, the top 5 in football make a shitload of money, but other than that, like, football's one of the lowest paid sports, professional sports.
And that's,
but I think the top 5 right now are really making that, like the Pat Mahomes with the $500 million contract he's got for 27 years. They're really now just starting to make money.
Haskins in the Discord says Aviators suck. Probably going to switch teams. Let's see how the second game tonight goes. That's awesome. That's how you pick a football team. This team sucks. Let's see how the next one is. I'm a Sea Lions fan. I'm just saying it right now, JP. I'm going to be a Spring League Sea Lions fan.
Where are they from?
The Spring League. There's 4 teams in Indianapolis, and there's 4 teams in Houston.
Okay, so it's just like
it's a
minor league baseball farm system.
Yes. Yeah, it's what we've talked about last week. We talked about an AA, AAA, like a farm system. So you really, these are guys that don't have any contracts anywhere. You're talking indoor arena, some guys that have been floating around, some NFL guys.
NFL Europe.
Yeah, NFL Europe.
I'm joking. That hasn't been a thing in forever.
It's on. It is on.
NFL Europe?
There is teams. They are active.
Really?
I know, JP, it's a whole new world. COVID has opened up a whole new world. There is a global American football system in place. right?
Josh, I don't know. I don't know.
You can't get behind it. Well, I can't either. But the cool thing is that people are going to American football games in Europe.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know because the Patriots used to do it. My buddy Paul, rest in peace, like he used to him and his in-laws, who they all had money. Like Paul had money, his in-laws had money. They used to go over to Europe for the Patriots game. When the Patriots would play over there.
I know a guy that ran the PR for the Frankfurt Galaxy that lives here in Billings right now. And he says that football team at its height when NFL Europe was going was bigger than most of the soccer at that time.
Was that right?
Yeah. It was. He said it was nuts. He said we were starting to get the hooligans that would be at the soccer games.
Okay.
As part of the fans for the Galaxy. He said that was a difference maker for us, is when we got the guys that were willing to come there and chant and party and have a good time. That was a difference maker. So I think it could happen. I think it could be successful. I just think it has, like everything in life, it has to be marketed and done correctly. And when you have the Spring League on Fox Sports 1 on a Thursday night when nothing else is on TV and you're a football fan, this is what you're doing.
I'm going to do something for next week.
Yeah?
For the XFL Extreme podcast. I'm going to research, and what I'll probably wind up doing is just looking at the top stats in the XFL and the CFL. I'm going to pick my top 3 picks for who my 3 favorite players are going to be, and I'm also going to try to pick my team.
Okay. So you're stat-based? Are you a stat-based team?
I'm going to be, because I'm going sight unseen.
What I'll do is when we get done tonight on the XFL Extreme here, I'm gonna put out 2 separate tweets. I'll put out the divisions with the 4 teams and their rosters. So you'll have. I actually have them on my phone right now. I have all 8 of them.
I'm not a stat based guy. Like I'm an energy guy. Like I want to watch and see the energy of the team, but not being able to do that, I'm going to base it off of stats for now, and I'm going to see how that changes when I see them. You know what I mean?
I'm a Sea Lions. I'm going to say this for the rest of however long this season is. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I'm an Andrew Jamil Sea Lions fan. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I'm a Sea Lions fan. Their receiving core is pretty good. You'll feel the energy. You'll see the energy. Just look. I'll send you some links so you can look at him. I'm kind of like you. It's energy. Like I want to see a kid like that succeed because he runs the routes that most other people are lazy on.
Now, I don't have much else for tonight. Do you?
No, man. I'm good to go. I'm watching somebody go off. I'm gonna go finish watching these games. It's just fun to be able to have the server up here and talk football, man.
Yeah,
it's just fun. I appreciate it, and that's what's fun with this is, it is what it is. It's another fun podcast. We're doing what we do.
Right, and that's all this is going to be is just sort of an extension of the Irish Whip, but it's its own entity at the same time. If you're listening live, you get to catch both. If you're downloading them, you can download the individuals.
Yeah, do us a favor. Go check out the Spring League. Pick a favorite team and let us know who your team is. And why. I'm gonna send those tweets out and see if I can tag some people. But
so why don't we do it for the Spring League? I'll do it for the Spring League.
Yeah, let's do it for the Spring League. Let's do both Spring League and CFL. Let's see if we can actually. Ooh, there's a pick in the end zone. Let's see if we can pick some, not based on So like, wow, it'd be interesting to see, man. I'm excited.
All right, guys. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you. I appreciate
thanks,
every one of you guys.
Yeah, follow us at XFL Extreme, and we'll probably hear us next week.
Yes, you will definitely hear us next week.